Since the poster boy for risking your life on screen first dangled from the world's tallest building in Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible's entire marketing blitz has been about the stunts.
We'll see the movie.
It's a major part of everything. Entire franchises like John Wick are based around it.
We got another trailer. Obviously, it's a massive department. It's a huge creative thing.
But there's a question that's rapidly being upgraded to a full-blown issue. Why are stunts not recognized by the Academy Awards?
What would it take for that to happen?
We all can agree, like, it would be fair. But how do you do it? Who should get the award? The stunt coordinator, the fight coordinator? Like, there's a lot of complexities that go with that.
You got to ask, like, well, what is it that you're giving an award to? Is it the design of a stunt? Is it the performance of a stunt? The coordination of a stunt?
More people would need to say, hey, you need to do this.
That's a category, probably more than any other category, in which people are actually every day risking their lives and their safety for your entertainment. If anything is worthy of an award, that would be.
It's one of the biggest, most complicated, most popularly heralded aspects of the modern blockbuster. So why doesn't the department have its own category on Oscar night?
It makes me mad the more we're talking about it. How is it not? Who do we talk to about this?
Well, we talked to a lot of people about this. Like, we spent our whole summer asking everybody we could for their thoughts. The truth is, it's complicated, but it doesn't have to be. We're taking our best shot at uncomplicating the issue by hearing from the performers and directors who know and digging into the Academy Bylaws, all to try and answer the question, why don't they have an Oscar for stunts?
People die during stunts. It's a big risk for maybe it depends on what you think is a big or small reward.
I think 100%. There's a long time coming. It should have been added years ago.
I think there absolutely should be. I can't believe that there isn't one.
Stunt work is, for fast, but so many movies, the heart of the movie. So please, 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 yes, please, Academy Awards, just give it to them.
The first part of this question is an issue of merit. Do they deserve to have an award? At its core, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is meant to recognize the best that the art form has to offer, to highlight the most outstanding examples of work from every corner of an insanely collaborative medium. Other award shows have a stunts category. Forever known for their brevity, the Screen Actors Guild Awards present an outstanding performance by a stunt ensemble in a motion picture, while the Primetime Emmys not only recognize stunt coordination, but in 2021 added an award for outstanding stunt performance as well. Meanwhile, only 3 stunt performers have been given Academy Awards. Stagecoach's Yakima Canutt got an honorary award in the 60s. Vic Armstrong's fan descender that made free falls safer earned him a Technical Achievement Award in 2001, while Hal Needham got a Governor's Award in 2012. So, what the hell, guys?
I'm shocked it's even still a conversation. I know there's, I guess, stunt awards that you guys have, but they are the unsung heroes. Even if at the end of the day you're stepping in to do the stunt on camera, the stunt doubles or performers have rehearsed that for months, injured themselves many times just to work out, okay, this is the most effective way.
Stunts, as much as anything this side of the actual invention of celluloid, are a cornerstone of film history. It's one of the oldest crafts of the art form.
It's been an art form since before sound was recorded in movies. So if you're talking about like a cinematic history, it goes way back. So just in logically looking at it, and you say, well, there's a best visual effects in Oscar, which is a pretty new technology when compared to stunts.
Sam brings up an interesting apples-to-apples comparison here. The best visual effects category has had something of a journey over the decades, beginning as best engineering effects, moving through special achievement awards for special effects before landing on best visual effects in 1977. Point is, there's been an effort to tweak the category as needed based on trends and advancements in a field that's become increasingly important to the industry. But filmmaking is a team sport, and as influential as CGI has become, you can't make the argument that it's more deserving of an Oscar than stunt work. Harrison Ford, an elder statesman of stunt work for sure, sees the value in a practical approach.
When you lose human scale,
When you see things that are not part of your human experience, when the laws of gravity, and science are not obeyed out the window, and anything can happen, you don't care as much somehow.
To Ford's point, there's more than a visual element to stunt work. There's something that goes beyond the inherent white-knuckling drama of watching real danger unfold on screen and shows the real value of quality stunts. In the same way, wearing a certain costume might alter the way they carry themselves, or layers of makeup can transform an actor's performance, working with a stunt team can have the same impact.
Working with the stunt team that we were working with, they have such a deep idea of character. These people aren't just coming on saying like, just do that and move here. They talk from the inside out. I mean, they're actors and artists.
5 months of training with an incredible stunt team led by Eastwood, drifting around a racetrack, mixed martial arts, working with knives and guns, creating a body that's dynamic enough so that by the time you get onto set, you've built that foundation where you can do anything. And so it becomes a sort of such a big part of the physicality of the character.
There's a credibility that cannot be denied when a stunt is being performed practically on film. In the same way Rick Baker got an Oscar for remarkably transforming an American in London into a werewolf, or any of the 8 times the Academy awarded Edith Head's distinct and character-enhancing wardrobes, a quality stunt done by an actual human stands out. And filmmakers like Christopher McQuarrie with the Mission Impossible franchise take it a step further.
Immersion, plain and simple. It connects you to the characters and to the story in a way that you couldn't do otherwise.
Look, we're finding ways on how to immerse an audience into a movie. Everything, my whole training, and when I watch movies, I want to feel connected to that character, and how do we do it?
For us, it's really important, not that you are watching a stunt, but that you are experiencing that stunt with the protagonist.
It has everything that we love. It's got a train, it's got submarines, it has horseback riding, it has cars and motorcycles, parachutes and speed flying. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the challenges of it, but it all comes down to story. How do I invest the audience?
Stunts are an art form as old as film itself, one that has evolved along with the medium that continues to provide a more immersive, engaging way to tell stories. So, what gives? Why no statue? To be fair, it's a very complicated department.
We all can agree, like, it would be fair. But how do you do it? Who should get the award? The stunt coordinator, the fight coordinator? Like, there's a lot of complexities that go with that. Stunts are a very complex department. Like, who designs the stunts? Well, sometimes, like in my case, I do. The Wachowski, it's Steven Spielberg, Nolan does. So is it the guy that designs the stunt, the performer that does the stunt? What if it's a fight scene? Should a fight scene, like, is it the guy that does or designs the whole, like Yung Woo Ping, the choreographer?
But why does that really matter? It hasn't stopped the Academy before it. Extraction director and America's Ass, Sam Hargrave,
that is America's Ass,
makes an excellent point about the relative complexity of the award.
What is it that you're giving an award to? Is it the design of a stunt? Is it the performance of a stunt? The coordination of a stunt? There's a lot of elements that go into it, right? But I mean, you could say the same thing truthfully about best costume design. Someone designs it, someone has to build it, someone has to oversee it. You got seamstresses, there's men and women working to build these costumes. Yet the costume designer gets the award. That would be the challenge, finding what would be the best way to nominate and to kind of delineate what it is that you're celebrating with that award.
The same is true for every discipline, from cinematography to special effects. But how complicated can it be, really?
I think the prison yard sequence was the most complex and had the most amount of choreography and moves that I've ever been a part of. There was, 300 or 400 extras or background artists, stunt performers within that shot, and it was shot as a one-er. Everything had to be seamless. It was like a beautifully choreographed dance that all had to be perfect.
Now, it's hard to argue with Thor. So, we didn't. Instead, we waited until he was gone and talked to Sam about it some more. One of the things that's great to talk to you about all of this is you've done pretty much all of these jobs, right? I mean, from performer to coordinator.
Yeah, I have done them all, like from top to bottom in the action space. I've done them all.
So I guess step one, the prison yard sequence. Who designed it? Who came up with the concept for it to begin with?
The original conceit for the Warner was in the script. Joe Russo wrote it based on the success of the Warner in the first film. He was very descriptive in his action. It went on for probably 25, 30 pages. So that's stage one. You get the screenplay from the writer. So I, as the director who knows what I want as an action designer, go through that script and then start to fill in the blanks with action that you really want to see and that makes sense for the character, right? John Wick fights in a different way than Tyler Rake fights, who's in a different way than Captain America fights, in a different way than Chuck Norris fights, for example.
You son of a bitch!
That goes from the director down to the stunt team to then come up with the most interesting action that you can, devise or imagine. And sometimes it can be as vague as I sat the team down and showed them a YouTube video of a lion being attacked by a pack of hyenas. And I said, that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for. That look in the lion's eye right there, that's Chris Hemsworth, that's Tyler Rake. These hyenas are the prisoners. That's the feeling. And so everyone was like, okay. And so now I wasn't saying he has to, karate chop here or shoot here. It's like, you guys know his style. You've seen the first movie. We've talked a lot about it. Take what you know about the character and the story that we need to tell and produce this feeling. From the stunt side, you got this vague direction to go on. You put it all together and then you go, and this process made very successful and kind of more well-known now of stunt visiting and fight visiting the stunt team. And they shoot and edit together and present with sound effects and music, this whole presentation of what the action could look like. Again, you go back to the director, you meet, you get notes, you refine it, you shoot it again, you cut it again, all the way up until shooting. We're kind of refining it and trying to get to the right thing. At a certain point, you want to say, great, that's locked in, so that your actors can start rehearsing what it is that you've come up with. So all of that team has to be in sync with the director and the story that you're trying to tell. So it's this very intricate dance of communication with the goal of perfection. We never get there, but that's the goal, is all the little details salt and peppered throughout the sequence to make it special.
So on the day, who's there and who's leading the team that's executing these stunts?
I'm there as the director, kind of overseeing things. And oftentimes in these big fight sequences, I'll actually be on camera shooting things. In this particular instance, we have one of the stunt performers, Nate Perry, who shot the courtyard sequence because there was so much going on and he had been rehearsing it. And it was so intricate and complicated that when I showed up and normally would take the camera and say, thanks, Nate, I saw what they were doing. And I was like, yeah, you should just shoot it because it's going to go way faster. We have so much stuff to cover. You know everything that's happening, so you shoot it.
See, that's incredible. So the stunt performers are so ingrained in what's going to end up on the screen that it's like, just hold the camera. And that's sort of the old backwards and in heels kind of cliche. It's just like, yeah, we're just going to make your job just a touch harder.
The art that they produce and the impact they have on the motion picture business is undeniable. There's not a lot of art forms like, yeah, it can be taxing to be, hair and makeup or costume or visual effects, but you're not risking your life usually. But for these people who are like risking their lives literally for your entertainment, I think you could recognize them for their efforts.
The Oscars have an air of institutionality to them, but the reality is they've changed quite a bit over the years. And I don't mean what gets televised or who gets their award sitting in the audience to shave 4 minutes off the show's runtime. I'm talking about the categories themselves. The core awards have been around since the very first ceremony in 1929. Some categories have come and gone, like Best Sound Editing that was only discontinued recently in 2019. My Rick Baker and Edith Head references from earlier came from categories that started in 1981 and 1948 respectively. Best Animated Movie showed up in 2001, and then the granddaddy of them all, Best Picture, expanded from 5 films to 10 for the 82nd ceremony in 2010. The expansion of the field was widely considered to be a reaction to the previous year's snubs, The Dark Knight and WALL-E. The films both represented something more adult in genres that had been considered kids' stuff. It's a balancing act the Academy has been trying to navigate ever since, very probably leading to the condescending fiasco that was the Best Popular Movie category. That actually did get announced as a new category before the Academy won an Oscar for backpedaling after a metric ton of very justified criticism was chucked on their doorstep. So it's clear there is a capacity to add, subtract, and evolve within the Academy, but what do the nuts and bolts of that process look like? We dug around some to find out exactly what hoops require jumping through, and per the Academy bylaws, here's what we found out. To start with, you have to understand that the Academy is built out of branches. There's an actor's branch, a writer's branch, directors, cinematographers, makeup artists, documentarians, production designers. There are a lot of branches. Members of the Academy belong to their respective branches, and for the most part, they can nominate and vote on the awards for those categories. There are more ins and outs than just that, including members at large that can vote in every category, but that's for voting on Oscars that actually exist. When it comes to creating a new category, the branch one belongs to also plays a role. For a new category, literally any voting member of the Academy can propose one. The proposal must address the hang-ups we've discussed with Sam Hargrave, for example, about whose name goes on the trophy and what exactly it is the new category will be awarding. But there's even more to it than that. Guidelines for the voting process, how nominees are determined in the first place, and even eligibility for membership in the Academy to create a pool of voters relevant to the new category all need to be a part of the original proposal. Once that information is together, our hypothetical proposers' first stop would be their branch executive committee. Each branch has a small group of governors to represent them that are automatically appointed to their branch's executive committee. Half of the rest of the committee is elected by the members of the branch itself, while the other half are appointed by the governors. Now, because each branch is a different size, each branch executive committee is a different size as well. However, all the branch executive committee members serve terms of 1 year. It's this group that gets first crack at the proposal, and they meet several times a year to discuss important issues affecting the Academy and its members, including awards and the rules that govern them. From there, if our proposal is enterprising enough to still have momentum, it will find itself with the Awards Committee. This committee is made up of governors and other members appointed by the Academy President. They will review and refine the proposal, offering guidance on the finer points of the rules and requirements that are part of the potential new category, and, like the branch executive committees, will meet several times annually. This, it seems, is the longest part of the process and can require a number of meetings to iron out all the details. But once the awards committee is happy with the proposal, they can make recommendations to the final stop on our journey, the Academy Board of Governors. This body is made up of branch governors who have sought and won election to their positions, including the Academy President, Vice Presidents, Treasurer, etc. While other committees will meet multiple times a year, any changes to the rules, the voting process, and of course, new awards are voted on and approved only once annually. All things considered, it's not as complicated a process as I initially thought it might be. Of course, there's no shortage of red tape when it comes to getting industry professionals from across every discipline filmmaking has to offer on the same page, so it may very well be daunting to impossible. But that hasn't stopped Stunts from trying, though. From 1991 to 2012, a category for stunt coordination was proposed every year and turned back at some point of the process. That's 21 consecutive years of trying and failing to get the needed votes and committee support to get an award on the broadcast. I'd like to believe there's a proper reason. Maybe, to Academy members, stunt work seems like an impenetrable web of complexity that's not even worth trying to figure out. Perhaps there's a sense that it's neither an art nor a science and therefore doesn't fit the Academy's mission statement. It's also entirely possible that a proposal works its way through the Academy's bureaucracy only to end up in front of the Board of Governors as a watered-down version of its original spirit. There's just no way to know what's happened in the past, but whatever the reason, there is a pathway to make it happen in the future. They just gotta talk about it.
It'd be great if we all sat at a table and figured it out. Smart people in a room usually end up with smart decisions. So what do you say we get smart people from both sides of the room and we talk?